All right, hopefully everybody can hear me. Do a little mic check. I don't even know if there's anybody in here, but if there is, let me know if you can hear me okay. We're going to go ahead and get started here in just 1 second. Everything should be working at least. Stream is on. It is public. Did I post the link? I believe I posted the link. Yeah, I posted the link. Okay. I think I dropped it in a couple Discords as well. Just do me a solid. Like and retweet or, thumbs up the video. All that good stuff. I'm getting my chart set up here. Just give me 1 second. We'll go ahead and get started. Working. And as per the usual, if you have questions, just do them here in the live chat. Don't do them in Discord or DM me on Twitter. I normally don't check that stuff while I'm streaming. All right. It's looking like everything should be good. Let me just double check my audio. I don't even know if anyone. Yep, my audio is coming through. Okay, awesome. All right. Let's go ahead and switch over to this. Turn this off. Hope everybody is doing well today. Today is going to be kind of a quick stream. It's kind of a laid back, kind of a chill Friday afternoon here. This is the 5-minute chart. This has been an actual, just sideways nonsense, day today. Literally all day has just been insane here. So it's kind of a clusterfuck. We're going to get into that in just a minute here. But I want to start with a big announcement. While I'm sharing my screen, let me go ahead and see if I have the link for it. I know that I retweeted it. This was really big news. Not that. Yeah, so it was this. So I posted that I'm, proud to be a listed strategist, friend to the team and supporter since the very beginning for Astrobit Trading. And I quote tweeted this. It was really awesome. So Astrobit Trading, at the Astrobit and Apex Pro exchange actually ended up getting featured in a pretty substantial sized Bloomberg article, which I thought was really awesome. So we got featured in Bloomberg Business. Apex Pro drives industry first partnership with Astrobit to bring decentralization to automated trading. So this is really huge. This is kind of it's just kind of underpinning the entire thing that I've been saying. Even other traders that I've known on crypto Twitter for years, within the last 6-8 months, I've been hammering everybody, you guys got to get on Astrobit, get involved. This is going to be really big. It's not just a one-off thing or some, stupid, half-assed platform, and just kind of encouraging everybody to start getting involved with what Bybit was doing with their Apex Pro exchange, which is decentralized, as well as Astrobit, which is the automated trading side of it. I've got strategies there. A lot of other people that watch these streams, I either have my strategy or have in the past, or other strategists, regardless, whatever. But I'll post the link to this article in here, in case you guys want to read this or whatever. It's a really interesting article. Kind of just goes into depth about Apex Pro, what it is, Astrobit, what it is, how they work, how they're integrating together, how they're kind of how this partnership kind of is a staple of pioneering the Web3 race. So this was a really big deal. I'm super excited for this. I'm really pumped. Very, very, very excited. This is a really, really big deal. I've known Nick, the CEO of Astrobit, for a very long time. I think 2 or 3 years now. I mean, to the point where, me and him are on a first name basis with our families and stuff. I've been there from the very beginning when he first had the vision of Astrobit and what he wanted to build it into. So the fact that, Nick, the CEO of Astrobit Trading, and now with this massive partnership with Apex Pro, and now there's Bloomberg articles getting written about it. Like, fuck CoinDesk. Like, CoinDesk is like crypto specific. Bloomberg Business is like the head honcho, outside of like Yahoo Finance. That's like the head honcho of like finance news, like where people get finance news. I mean, Bloomberg terminals for trading. Come on, guys, right? Getting featured in Bloomberg is massive. Like, I can't understate that enough. Like, this is really, really big. Like, I probably don't sound very pumped. I mean, maybe I do because I'm harping on it right at the beginning of the stream or whatever, but I'm extremely excited for this. This is massive for the space. This is massive for Web3. This is massive for decentralization. Integrating, with integration of automated trading strategies. And so this is just big deal news for the space in general. So I'm very, very excited to share this for you. Link is in the chat. I encourage you guys to, if you guys don't know what Apex Pro is, go to apexpro.exchange, go to, Astrobit, follow Astrobit, certainly follow my own algo at Venom Algo. All the links for this stuff, at least my stuff like Venom Algo and my branded stuff, is down in the description below. Smash the subscribe button, smash the like button. I do this every Friday night. There's going to be more big news and more big announcements to come. And if you guys think that the Venom Algo, that those of you that are listening in or want more information or that are already subscribers, I can't impress on you guys enough that the Venom strategy doesn't stop with the one strategy that I have for Bitcoin, right? Like, that's just the very beginning. Like, I don't want to just have, and be a strategist that has one or two strategies. Nah, fuck that. I'm not about that. I don't want one or two strategies. I'm creating a suite of strategies. Bitcoin is just the first. Obviously, Ethereum is going to be the next, right? But what comes after that? Well, that's going to be coming from you guys. Leave a comment down below on the YouTube video. Let me know. Oh man, I'm already subscribed to the Venom strategy. It'd be cool to have a strategy, to have the Venom strategy operate on X pairing, like, name a pairing, XRP, Algo, CRV. Obviously, I'm going to avoid meme coins. You guys know how I feel about meme coins. I think they're all trash. They're garbage. They don't have any utility. I'm never going to build an algo that trades shit coins. But I'm talking like real good layer 2s and or layer 3s, if they're not shit. What do you guys want to see? As a part of that indicator suite, as a part of that Venom strategy suite that I'm in the process of building and I'm always building, let me know what you guys would like to see. I mean, obviously, like, I'm building it for you so that you guys have a product that's trustworthy, that's reliable, that has somebody like me, that's extremely transparent with everything that I do. And oops, what the hell? Sorry about that. I accidentally double clicked on OBS and it full screened for a second. But anyway, dude, you should be a professional commentator. I love that. Thank you very much. I get a lot. I actually get that more than you would think. It might have something to do with the fine tuning of my my digital audio workstation for how I make my microphone sound. My voice is pretty dark and sexy. But the equalizers and shit definitely help with that. But anyway, welcome to the stream, guys. This is Beers and Bitcoin. I know that I don't have my face cam on. I apologize for that. I've got a lot of stuff going on at my house. Kind of a mess right now. I'm kind of a mess right now. So the stream is going to be a little short, but cheers. My proverbial cheers. You can't see me, but I'm shaking my beer towards the camera. I am drinking a craft glass bottle brew from my local brewers out here in Kansas City. So that's really exciting. Let me take a swig here. Hey, you know what? That's pretty good. I like it. It's not one of those fruity ones. It's not an IPA. It's a lager. But I like this lager because it's a little smoother and it's got some nice tones to it, but it's not like ultra hoppy. Like, it has hops, but it's not like crazy hoppy, and it's really like light and smooth and refreshing. This is like really, really nice, especially since we're getting into the summertime. I love like wheat beers and like light lagers that are kind of lighter on the hops and stuff during the summertime. So Ancient Alien, what's up, man? Good to see you in here. Cheers. Anyway, so this is going to be a little shorter of a stream. Like I said, I want to keep it to that 1 hour time frame. So I kind of, went into that really big news with the Bloomberg article about the Astrobit trading and Apex Pro partnership getting featured in Bloomberg. Super huge. Everything that I'm going to be getting into with offering an entire algorithm suite, not just Bitcoin. If you guys have input on, again, on pairings of the strat that you would like me to see or build or whatever, let me know down in the comments below. In the meantime, hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And we'll go ahead and get into the chart here. So I'm going to scale this up to a daily chart. We'll take a look at the high time frames first. You guys know how I roll. Let's turn on all my drawings here, kind of see where we're at. So this still hasn't resolved yet. This is kind of the reason why I didn't really want to call this a Head and Shoulders. I personally think, like I said last week, that this is going to break down and that we are going to see this next level of monthly support and resistance that formed back in February and that was broken through in March. But that's yet to be seen. We've got a lot of liquidity tests to the downside here. Now, being that this candle closed red, obviously there's more selling pressure, right? Like the bears were winning on this candle. So far since then, actually, was that last week? Was the 12th last Friday? Yeah, it was. Literally since last week, we literally are at the same exact level that we were at last week when I streamed. So that's actually kind of interesting. It kind of makes for a little bit of a boring analysis on the high time frame since I do this every week. We haven't really seen, a significant move here. Full disclosure, the Venom algo currently, I believe it is holding short currently. I think it's only underwater by like 1% or 2%. It's like something very minuscule within a margin of error. But what I'm most impressed with, and the reason why I was on the 5-minute chart here, is because if you take a look at this price action, I think it longed here like 26.5 or something like that. And it's like 1% or whatever off. But what surprised me is that it didn't try to like short here and then hold and then get stopped out. With today's volatility, especially with this nonsense, I mean, if you look at a 15-minute chart, it's just 2 giant wicks in either direction. And what I'm very proud of is that the algo successfully held through this. It didn't see all of this volume on this candle here and long, right? Like expecting liquidity to the top side because the wick is to the top side, right? It didn't do that, only to get stopped out on the next candle. It also didn't short here, only to maybe take partial profit and then probably get stopped out immediately, right? So I'm very, very surprised. It's handling this kind of volatility very well. Didn't make a decision in here and basically said, you know what? I'm short from here. I'm only 1% from my entry. Fuck it, right? And it decided to stay flat through here. So algos that are on lower time frames, like mine's designed on a 5-minute, is very, very. I can't like go into it enough. And harp on enough like how difficult it is to build a successful trading strategy that's automated on such a low time frame. The original issue of the Venom algo was a while ago, I think about a year ago, and it was originally built on the 1 hour and the 4 hour time frame. And it performed pretty decent until recently, which is obviously why I came out with this new iteration of it. And I did get confirmation that mine is actually the first. I am the first strategist on Astrobit. Well, not only was I the first strategist on Astrobit, but the Venom algo is actually the first strategy on Astrobit that has a partial automated take profit. So at a certain percentage of when the price moves in favor, not only will it trigger a trailing stop to minimize loss and drawdown and be able to cut it break even and lock in profits, but it also has that automated partial take profit. So when the price does move a certain percentage in favor of the position, not only will it move that automated stop loss up, but it also will close out 10% of the position, cover your trade fees, and lock in a little bit of profit, constantly growing your portfolio. So really exciting. Again, that's why I'm like super hyped about that stuff. I'll try to stop harping on it. I'm sorry. Anyway, back to the daily chart. Sorry. Anyway, I was getting into why like I don't have confidence of this being a Head and Shoulders here anymore. This was not a strong enough impulse down. Like if this was going to be a real true Head and Shoulders here, right? First of all, these peaks, if you want to call them that, are not really they're not really peaks here, right? They're more like slow arches. A traditional Head and Shoulders is very sharp peaks. And a very clear, well-defined breakdown of the shoulder line. This is not a clear, well-defined breakdown of the shoulder line. This is like, right? This is the shoulder line here. And this isn't a breakdown. This is like a stagnation of price action. So not very awesome. I trade ETH 3-minute chart. Most people won't even look at it. I normally don't go below 5 minutes. I'll be totally honest with you. Anything but like I started and I got wrecked so many times back in the BitMEX days, trading the 1 minute and the 5 minute chart. I successfully blew up like probably 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, small portfolios, just degen leverage trading on the 1 minute and the 5 minute chart. It just got so tiring. I lost so much sleep over it. It was just, it's kind of a lost cause for me at this point, which is why I built the initial algos on the 1 hour chart, is because the 1 hour time frame kind of became my new home for, trend identification and just charting in general. Obviously, I've got my daily stuff, but that's like macro stuff, right? Like none of this stuff for the most part doesn't show, when I'm on my 1 hour time frame. These do. Like this one shows here, but this level and these levels all in here, these aren't showing on that big high 4 hour time frame. I like to separate my drawings out because my 1 hour time frame is like my baby now. That's kind of like where I really trade. And I just really feel like after this bounce, I feel like we are probably going to get some more continuation here. This bounce went nowhere. Okay, like that's what I'm kind of trying to impress upon you guys is like, look at how flat. Like, okay, the momentum bounced, right? It didn't even technically go into bullish territory. Like if you look at this MACD, and I know the MACD, oh my God, the MACD, the RSI, it's so overplayed. I get it. I get it. Here's the deal though. Yes. Is it an overplayed indicator because everybody uses it? Yes. But why does everybody use it? I don't use it to make a trade decision. I strictly use it to look at how strong momentum is. Like that's pretty much it. I use this in an RSI for momentum and like looking for divergence. And then I'm pretty much a volume and an order flow trader, right? So I'm looking at volume per bar. And then I'm looking at spot on balance volume. Like these are the main two that I use. Normally my chart looks like that and the MACD is minimized. So this is kind of like my default setup. I mean, I've got different chart layouts. Some of you guys have seen them and some of you not. I'm not going to switch to the Venom Algo one because I'm already live and I don't want to accidentally dox settings or indicators so that people can like rip it off. That's been a major problem at Astrobit is people will pay to be a member of a strategy and then they'll like attempt to back engineer it, from traders and strategists like me that like aren't careful. And then they like accidentally go and show their chart layout and like they'll try to like get hints and rip it off. Kind of a sleazy thing to do, but I can, I respect the hustle, but that doesn't make it not sleazy, right? But anyway, this is a weak ass bounce. Okay. Like I can't say that enough. Like this is a really, really weak bounce here. Now, the interesting thing is that on this candle, granted, this was a lot of volatility, but our OBV is showing that was a lot of spot volatility, right? Because if that was all derivatives, this would have just been a little bump like this, right? It would have just been a little meh. It just would have squeaked up. So this is representative of like, I don't know if a big market maker fat fingered something or if all of that money that's been shifting around on Coinbase, if you guys have been watching the on-chain data, like I know that 90% of you guys have, Twitter, right? If you go to whale alerts The hell? What? What the fuck? Where's the, am I dumb? It is whale alerts, right? Like, isn't that the name of the big thing that like notifies everybody? Yeah. Whale alert. Sorry, I put an S on the end. Ooh. So those of you guys that have been paying attention, right? 10,000 Bitcoin transferred from unknown wallet to unknown wallet, transfer from Coinbase to unknown wallet. This guy was offboarding, unknown wallet to Coinbase, another 1,000. Like there's been a lot of movement of like a lot of money, within the last 24 hours here. And I'm thinking like, obviously this is spot, right? Like this is all spot. So the fact that the OBV jumped up this high, that immediately tells me, without even having to look at XO charts, without even having to, have like a global order book or whatever on my screen, which normally I have over here. Why isn't it over there? I will bring that up real quick. Let's get that going. Don't worry, I'll make sure to disable the sound so that you don't die. Because if I don't disable the sound, oh boy, is it going to be a disaster. Audio disabled. Okay, cool. So this will start ticking here, but I'm sure that during the day, I didn't have this up, but I'm sure that during the day, the actual order books just went absolutely like psycho. Where is my, what the? Okay, that's weird. My YouTube thing went off for some reason. Don't know why, but just give me 1 second here. Streamer issues, right? First world problems. Let me get that back up. Studio. Wait, my stream didn't end, right? Oh, don't tell me that my stream ended. Okay, no, it didn't. Jesus Christ, that's scary. I thought the stream went down for a second. Good Lord. Okay, no, we good. Anyway, this tells me, like with this OBV, back to what I was saying, this tells me that this is pretty much spot volume, right? Like given how much stuff has been moving around, on the blockchain and big amounts of Bitcoin and stuff getting transferred and moved around to exchanges, this tells me that big market makers and big whales and stuff do not have confidence that this is going to make like a significant move to the top side. That's bad. That generally means a loss of like bullish, feeling, right? Like people are generally like whales and stuff. If that much money moved around like to Coinbase, this was a lot of order book sweeping and like fat fingering and stuff. Now I could be wrong. This could just like fucking scam like and just skyrocket to 28K, stop the short out of its position, stop the Venom algo out of its short position and just fucking like scam all the way up to like 28.2. I don't think that that's going to be happening. And if it does, that's the kind of move that would be so scammy that it would cause major divergence here on our OBV, because that would probably be a liquidity grab. So you guys know that I love looking at high block capital, right? I absolutely love these charts. Again, not a shill, but the link is in the description if you guys want more information about this, what they do. And it's not, I only use this for their liquidity charts. They have a lot more other stuff here, screeners, and you can set up custom dashboards and everything that have this and a chart with a whole bunch of their custom trading view indicators and everything. Really diverse platform, but I really only use it for this brand new liquidity heat map that they only released like, I don't know, like three or 4 months ago. And then the individualized levels here, right, on Binance. So this is pretty much what I use it for. And actually looking at this individualized levels, boy, are we just smushed right in between tons of liquidity. So this is part of the reason why earlier today we saw that like really scammy move, right? Like it knocked out a whole bunch of 100x shorts and then immediately reversed, collapsed, and wiped out like a pretty significant amount of 100x longs as well. Didn't really do much damage in terms of the overall liquidity. In fact, most of those positions that got swept out through here immediately re-entered as they were getting swept out. All those little green and red dots that are on the candles, those are all entries of longs and shorts. And you can see that literally right after that, the total number of cumulative pretty much returned to normal right after that event. So it's just kind of a weird day. It's just some like really, what the hell? Just some really wonky, like just really fuckery in terms of price action here. But in general, shorts are offsides here. Okay. So, it's there's definitely a lot more. How much is this? Almost 5 billion. Actually, that's not really that many. Normally, I don't get too concerned about the actual cumulative number until it starts reaching like, 15 billion, 20 billion, 25 billion. And we've seen that tons of times before. Normally, if the price stagnates long enough and this number ends up growing and there's just tons and tons of orders stacked on each side to the point where it's like between 15 and 25 billion, normally that ends up meaning that like that's when you're about to see like a really major move. Like I'm saying a major move, like the price is going to move like $4,000, $5,000, $6,000. Like not like, oh, look, it moved $600. Like, no, I'm talking like 6,000. Like that's when you see like a really major liquidation cascade event in one direction or the other. It really just depends. What the situation is and what the general market sentiment is. But normally when the cumulative reaches that number on Binance, that's typically when you end up seeing a really large event like that. So in our immediate area here, where most of our 50 and 100x positions are, I'll just zoom in on that real fast. This is pretty much what we got. So, I mean, even if this wicked down again, it would really only be sweeping the lows from that low of that volatility wick today. Back down to like 26.6. Now, same thing to the top side, right? We could sweep all these 100x shorts up here, but it's really only going to be sweeping up to and around the top of that wick that we saw earlier today, which is like 27.2. So it's a really, really tight range here. That's kind of hard to call. Normally we get lower volume on the weekends anyway. I think that we'll probably end up seeing some kind of volatile some volatile stuff with the markets next week, because I'm pretty sure that the FOMC minutes comes out. Let's look at that real quick. So next Wednesday is the 24th. So if we scroll down here, so we get the Fed minutes, 2 p.m. on Wednesday. So like I said last week, I think that event for the FOMC minutes, okay, the minutes is when they like revise any statements or any analysis that they put out publicly for the actual FOMC event the month earlier or 3 weeks earlier or whatever, and they make any revisions to any statements. Now, they were very adamant about not confirming a pause and not really confirming anything. Really, they didn't really confirm if they were going to continue rate hikes. They didn't really confirm if they were going to pause. They did confirm. The only thing that they confirmed was 100% there will be absolutely zero rate cuts in 2023. I think that that's a positive thing. I think that they personally, I feel like they need to keep rates higher for longer. They need to create some kind of a liquidity crunch. And, they need to just tighten lending conditions because people have been lending money with no repercussions and super low interest rates for far too long. And banks have been gouging those interest rates and just racking up the money. Now that the Fed is increasing the rates at which the banks can lend money at, it's obviously, putting them into a little bit of a credit crunch, which isn't a bad thing. That's just kind of the way markets go. That's kind of the thing that happens. Thank you, Carol, for that. I appreciate your congratulatory statement there. Thank you very much. but anyway, I think that some kind of a credit crunch is needed, right? So this kind of leads me, to kind of take a look at the dollar here, right? So funny enough, until very, very recently, and when I say very recently, I mean like a day or two ago, or like this week in general, for the most part, Bitcoin has not been nearly as inverse correlated to this chart as it was previously, right? I mean, like pretty much not all through this, but pretty much all through this certainly has just been like nonstop up, and now the market's kind of stagnating. But for the most part, all through this, I mean, like just everything was dying, right? Like the markets were dying, Bitcoin was dying, everything was dying through here. And now the markets are kind of starting to, everything that's correlated or inverse correlated is starting to get back to that, into the normal swing of things here. So typically when that happens, just from experience, I know that sounds like a good thing. But in my experience, typically what that leads to is some kind of a volatile event. Now, if the Fed minutes comes out next week on Wednesday and they make an affirmation and they confirm that they are going to pause, I don't think that is going to be, I mean, the charts the day of, if something like that happens, we might see like a lot of bullishness, right? Because people in general are pretty dumb and they're going to think that's bullish. That's actually really bearish. Okay. Let me be perfectly clear on that. If the Fed decides to leave rates higher for longer at 5.25% for the rest of the year, that is ultra bearish. However, in the long term, like for 2024, 2025, that's really bullish, right? That means that they're going to be cutting the money supply. They're not printing any money. They're not doing as many bond auctions, and they're tightening credit lending conditions. They're increasing the interest rates, making lending for banks harder, and kind of reeling in just the complete unchecked financial disaster of printing trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars, just kind of starting to mitigate the disaster and kind of reel in everything that's going on and reel back in the value of the dollar. This is of monumental importance right now. You guys know exactly what's going on with the US dollar as the world reserve currency status. We're slowly losing that peg. That is highly, highly important for the United States to keep. Living here in the United States, I'm fearful. I really am. I got to be honest with you. If the United States fails to really reel in the purchase power of the dollar and get this fucking inflation under control, we are so screwed. Like we're in very big trouble. Very, very big trouble. And I don't just mean, oh yeah, well, the US is going to just lose the peg and the dollar will still be there. Yeah, you're 100% right. The dollar will absolutely still be here. Just like the euro and then the pound and the fucking ruble and, all of that. Yeah, it'll still be here. But losing its peg and losing all the benefits of being the world reserve currency, we will default no matter what. We 100%. It doesn't matter what they fucking do with the debt ceiling. That's a debate for another day. It doesn't matter what they do with the debt ceiling. If they fail to bring inflation under control and more countries move away from purchasing and trading in the United States dollar, the USD loses its world reserve currency status. It shifts to something else. At this point, right now, it looks like the yuan. Everyone's trading in the yuan. That will probably be an instant default of the United States debt. And we will see hyperinflation here at home to the point where I would probably move my family out of the country. It would be very bad, and it would get bad super quick. Like I'm talking like it would be like Venezuelan style disaster. It would be absolute mayhem, people digging through trash cans more than they already are in New York City. Okay. Like for whatever reason, those people, the New Yorkers and the Californians and stuff, they love living like that for some reason. I don't know. That's not my cup of tea. I don't want to dig through trash cans to feed my family. That's fucking disgusting. I'd rather move to Central or South America where my wife is from and live hunky dory and convert all my money to their currency and be perfectly fine. But anyway, at the end of the day, what I was getting back to what I was saying about the correlation and inversely correlated assets here. here's kind of what we have, right? The international oldest symbol in the world for male is a triangle, right? It's a triangle. And this bottom formation, and it can also be a top formation, but it in general, I mean, like if you looked at this the other way and you flip the chart upside down, you would see like, okay, there's a triangle here, right? And then you've got a big swooping arch here, right? This is called an Adam and Eve pattern, okay? Not very many of you are going to be able to pick this out. It is a classical charting pattern, so depending on how, depending on what your trading style is, you may or may not know this, but that's why I'm here, education. This is a Adam and Eve pattern. So this is on the daily chart, which isn't a super high time frame for the dollar, to be honest. I mean, usually I'm looking at this on a monthly. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, look at this pattern here on the monthly. Like, we had this beautiful triangle pattern, 2 touch each side, huge breakout. It looked like we were going to be coming in for a retest here, but maybe not now. I'm not too sure. This is kind of a weird couple months here. But in general, this is the kind of thing that I look at on a monthly time frame to get a really good overall sense of what's happened. What happened during the 2000 crisis when all the money printed. You know what I mean? And when there was all the hype and stuff, and then what happened? The economy tanked, right? The dollar lost all of its value, and then what happened? Like, we built it back up. Oh, boom! 2008 housing market burst, and then the 2018 crunch in here, right? So you can kind of like pick out those big things, those real big events on this chart. Obviously, this biggest one was obviously like Nixon and everything, like taking us off the gold standard. This was taking us off the gold standard here was just absolutely the demise of the dollar. Like, the dollar will never be worth this much ever again. And it just won't be. The dollar index will never get that high ever again. We made it close here to the top of the .com bubble. We were very, very, like, strikingly scary close to that. We hit what, about 115? This was about 120. So like 5 points away. Jesus, that's insane. But anyway, on the daily time frame here, not a very high time frame for a dollar index, right? Like the world reserve currency status, the index of the world reserve currency. That's a pretty low time frame considering. And we've got a very nice, well-defined Adam and Eve pattern here forming. This could very well be a massive reversal to the top side. And if it is, I expect to see levels of at least up here, up around 110. That would be like my first profit. Like, that would be my first target, right? Like, I would be if this ends up confirming and we get, let me redraw it just for illustration here. Let me move the chart over. Okay. I'm going to draw my resistance box here because we've got this level of consolidation here. Okay. That's the next level. This is going to be red because it's resistance. This is our Adam and Eve pattern, right? Boom, boom. Obviously we could wiggle around or whatever in here, but what I would be expecting is a breakout, a retest very quickly, probably, and then skyrocket. Like, it would basically look like from here, if you looked at it from here to here, if that ends up happening, it would basically look like it went parabolic, right? Like, this would just do one of these. Okay. This would also be technically a cup and handle. Okay. If you were just looking at that part of the chart, it would be a cup and handle. However, the full pattern is a Adam and Eve. Okay. These patterns are pretty rare. I'm surprised that no one is talking about this. I don't know if maybe I just have an eye for classical charting patterns, or some people just, like, maybe most people just think they're bullshit. When you see a high time frame pattern like this on something that's legacy, especially the dollar index, this is something you want to pay attention to. It's definitely not something, I mean, even if you're not going to trade it, it's definitely something that you don't want to ignore, right? It's definitely a possible scenario. So I'm not counting that out here. I got a lot of flack in my DMs about the Adam and Eve pattern on this. I haven't seen anybody else point it out, probably just because they don't want the bullshit. But like, I had people DMing me on Discord like, hey, that Adam and Eve is bullshit. There's no way that plays out. I think you're full of shit. You don't know what you're talking about. It's like, all right, well, kudos to you. Thanks, if you feel bigger being a keyboard warrior for calling out somebody with 12 years experience trading equities. That's cool. Do your thing, bro. Don't really care what you have to say. But I am going to present this to everybody so that they are aware of it, because I haven't seen anybody else talking about it. I feel like it's the responsible thing to do. I feel like with what's going on with the indecisiveness of what's going to be going on with the budget and the debt ceiling in the United States there's a lot of fundamental factors that could also contribute to this playing out, right? Like the US potentially defaulting, the debt ceiling thing, the fucking just spending crisis that we have here in the United States. What happens if commercial real estate, what happens when that bubble finally fucking explodes, right? So there's a lot of fundamental question marks that could also fuel this. But I wanted to bring it up. I felt like it was very important. I wanted to highlight that in the stream tonight. I felt I did a good job. If you think I did too, or if you like that kind of stuff, let me know down in the comments below. Certainly like and sub to the stream. I do this every Friday. But anyway, I wanted to point this out. If something like this happened, what does that mean for Bitcoin and just digital assets in general, right? I'm not really going to go over the total market cap. I mean, I guess I can, but it's pretty much the same exact thing as Bitcoin. Like, it doesn't really look too much different from Bitcoin until you start looking at the total two, which that actually excludes Bitcoin. So that does look a little more different. And then if you look at the total three, which is basically just the altcoin market cap, that has just taken an absolute beating since April. I mean, it's just really, really bad. What's the decrease here? From top to bottom, 15% of its market cap disappeared in under 30 days. That's think about that, by the way. We're talking 400 billion, right? Like, cut it 50 billion in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Like that's nuts. That's pretty crazy. Like alts definitely got hammered. Like, you guys know, this is why I don't really chart alts too much. I don't think that we'll ever again see an alt season like we did in 2017 or 2016, and 2019 or whatever. There's just too much stuff in the space now. It's just too convoluted. So I don't think that we're ever really going to see moves like that ever again, unless some of those altcoins like really, really go far and they start doing like really big deals with, big mainstream companies here. But again, just in general for the market cap, like, this doesn't look too good either, right? Like, we had this big V-shape correction and it just could not break these highs. Just couldn't do it. Swift rejection too. And now it basically retraced, almost all the way here. So this is kind of, in my opinion, this is kind of hanging on by a thread. The altcoin market cap is kind of hanging on by a thread here. If Bitcoin and the majors end up tanking hard, this I think is going to tank harder. And we'll probably see these lows again. Okay. So that would be not good. But at the end of the day, what does all that mean for Bitcoin, right? I mean, if I come down to this 4-hour time frame and we really get into it and kind of dissect what's going on here, we are technically still in a pretty significant level of support, which is why we're kind of seeing all of this volatility in here. This is kind of like the last line of support, right? Like, until we start seeing like major price moves, because look at how volatile all of this price action was through here. I mean, we basically teleported from 24 to 27K. Like, we just teleported $3,000. And before that, we pretty much teleported. What is this? Actually, I'll count that too. So like 19.5 to 25, like that's insane. Like, it's like a $6,000 move. That's kind of what I'm saying here, where like if something happens where this ends up moving to the downside, I mean, yeah, technically that would be a completion of a head and shoulders pattern. If we're really getting into that, I really don't like this section here. So I think that this would probably have to break down rather soon in order for that to be happening. That could be the FOMC minutes when we get clarity on if they're going to keep hiking or if they're going to pause and keep rates higher for the rest of the year and keep it at 5% for a year. That's very, very short term, like for the rest of the year, short term. I mean, what are we talking, like 6-8 months? That's short term in terms of like legacy stuff and the dollar index. That would be majorly short term bearish. Like keeping rates at 5.25 for another 8 or 10 months or whatever. I mean, that's big. Like that's a really big deal. That's going to put tons of pressure on lending. Like if you're like an average person and you want to go into the bank and get a personal line of credit, good luck. It's not going to happen. I have a 750 credit score. I went to Barclays and tried to get a personal credit card for like $5,000. They wouldn't give it to me. They denied me with a 750 credit score, by the way. And like, it's not like, oh yeah, I've got a 500 and I want $10,000. No, I've got a 750. I pay all my bills. I only have like $2,000 in debt. Like my debt to income ratio is fantastic. And I could not get a personal loan. Like my credit union won't give me a personal loan. So like the credit crunch is already here. So I think that it's going to be really big if they decide, and it's going to be really bearish short term. If the Fed does decide, okay, we're pausing and we're going to keep it that way for the rest of the year, that's going to be like, holy shit, the Fed's not fucking around. Which is fantastic. Like I said, that's fantastic long term. They're taking inflation seriously. They want consumers to be okay. They don't want fucking milk prices at $5 a gallon, right? Like it's ridiculous. Things are crazy. One loaf of bread where I live is like fucking $4 or $5. A 1 gallon of like 2% milk is like $5 and change. It's more than that after taxes. I mean, it's insane. So, oh yeah, well, inflation is showing signs of slowing. It's slowing, but we're not deflating, right? Like it's slowed down and maybe it's peaked. But just like Jerome Powell said, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whatever, in the FOMC in his statement, yeah, it's slowed, but it could easily spike back up again. And we may want to make sure that the job gets done. We don't want to half-ass this and then just see inflation, boom, spike right back up, because they've already seen that, right? They paused for a little bit, like when they took it down since 2022. They were doing, they started 25, then they went to 50 and they did 50, 50, 50, 50. And then they went to 75 and they did 3 75s in a row. Then they went back to 50 and they went back to 50 too soon. And that's what ended up happening. That's why they did an additional 25 basis point hike last meeting, is because they didn't want to cut the job short. I fully agree with that. I would be surprised. I wouldn't, I don't know if that was a typo. I would be surprised at all. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see another rate increase this year. I wouldn't put it past them to do it, but I don't think, yeah, okay. So I understood you, Nick. So I personally, I wouldn't be surprised on that either. To be perfectly honest with you, I think that they might do another 25 basis point hike. Either way, if they do another 25 and then decide to pause for the rest of the year, because that's like it's like halfway through the year, right? The next FOMC, I think, is in June. That would be halfway, June, July, August, September. Yeah, that's halfway through the year. With another 6 months, like if they did another 25 or just decided, okay, we're going to pause completely, both of those things are hugely bearish short term for the rest of the year. Hugely. The effects that's going to have on all markets, including digital asset markets where we trade, is substantial. It's going to be large. It's definitely not something to fuck around with, right? Like, I mean, like if you've got money, like for me, even in my main portfolios, like even like I manage me and my wife's like IRAs and 401ks and stuff. Like I actively trade those, and I mean, not high frequency trade. I'm not day trading my fucking retirement account, but one, you're not allowed to. Two, I would never be that irresponsible with my money. But I manually do that stuff, so I don't have to pay a accountant or a hedge fund guy or, fuck around with all these weird different weighted mutual funds and pay out fees to the hedge fund guys that trade. No, I don't want to do all that. I'd rather just trade it myself. That's why I do equities. That's why I do foreign exchange. That's why I do, like ETFs. I'm really big on ETFs and commodities, like industrial stuff, like my industries and stuff like that. Really big on those. And I've been noticing significant slowdowns. They say, oh, well, the housing market. Building in terms of the housing market, like, yeah, lumber, came back down and, cat stock is, regulated and started to come back down and all of that stuff. That's great. But that also means that like the demand for new houses is fucking like rock. It's starting to bottom out. Like it's rock bottom. Nobody wants to buy a house. And I think that that's really funny because, when you look at the average interest rates right now for like mortgages and stuff, I think they're like five, between like 5.25 or whatever it is. It's really not that bad. Like I know for a fact, my parents, the house that I grew up in, they purchased it in 1984. I was born in 88. So they bought the house. I think it was in like 84. They bought it for like $175,000 at 11% interest. Okay. But we're talking like a really big house here. Like when they retired, I mean, I had already long since moved out of my parents' house, like fucking 15, 20 years ago. And when they retired 10 years ago, they sold that house for $1.2 million. And that wasn't even at the height of the markets in 2020. That was years and years before. We're talking like 2012, 13, 14, maybe. I think it was 2014. Like the markets were just average, right? Like nothing was broken, but nothing was crazy at that point. And between 1984 and 2012, I mean, what is that? Like, it's like they 10x their house, right? I mean, that's fucking crazy. They bought it for $175,000. They paid it off within like 15, 20 years. And then they sold it in 2012 for $1.2 million. Sure, they redid the deck. They put a new roof on it, changed the windows. Sure, of course, they kept up with the house. But in general, that is an absolutely massive flip. Like, hats off to my dad, right? My dad's always been a big investing and trading and stuff, kind of runs in my family. My grandfather was a stockbroker back in the 30s. He witnessed Black Friday. If you guys are familiar with stock and trading history, he was there in the, in the World Trade Center in the tower, watching people fall past his fucking office. Hedge fund guys and fucking investment guys and stuff fucking committing suicide, jumping out of the goddamn building. After that happened, my mom came of age and she turned like 16 or 17. And then she actually worked on the stock floor as an accountant. Calling up the orders and shit to the hedge fund and the actual guys placing the orders upstairs. She was an accountant on Wall Street. So that's kind of like my family, a little bit into my family's background. I don't think I've ever disclosed that before, but you kind of say trading's in my blood. my whole family on my mom's side has always been like traders and investors and stuff. And my dad is very talented at it as well. But this chart still stands. I'm very surprised. I know that I didn't really go over ETH. I'm going to kind of close the stream with a wrap up on the daily chart with ETH and then on the 1 hour chart with Bitcoin. So stay tuned for that. And this chart is still super, super valid, right? So we still have this overthrow line, which is crazy to me because it's been overthrowed. This was the overthrow point back here, right? Like this was our overthrow high. And then the overthrow high got overthrown, but we didn't break this very, very, very important order. Oops, I almost moved it. This very, very, very important order block of the break this and we bull run. Have not done it. And now ETH is just showing weakness, significant weakness here. And this doesn't look good to me either here. Like this was a very pretty sharp peak in price action here. And we did not see like a sharp like peak in price action here on the spot OBV. Okay. So that tells me that most of this was a liquidity grab and that was derivatives. Obviously not enough, spot volume to be able to, break this very, very, very important order block. And I put the notes here for you guys. This is between 2160 and 2240, our major monthly support level, similar to the same kind of price action structure that we have on Bitcoin, pretty much at that same level, except on Ethereum, the price is 1705 to 1785. So this very, very small $80 range here, holding on by a thread. Now, this triangle was very deceptive as a continuation or a reversal, excuse me. This was a very perfect triangle. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch. Didn't quite get the 5th touch here, but whatever. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, breakout, retest, and then it continued up. This is where everybody got caught here, was this breakout. Everybody accumulated in here expecting us to just full bull run. And it was the same sentiment with Bitcoin. You guys remember what the sentiment was back in March. Oh my God, look, it's just going to rip to 40K. Yeah, look at Ethereum. It's going to go to 4,000. Like everybody was yelling at the top of their lungs, right? Very, very sadly disappointed. If you look at the volume per bar, it just looked like absolute hot garbage through here. Like after this, like look at this trough in volume. Like that's not what you want to see for a continuation of a trend, especially when it flips bearishly that hard, right? Normally not a good thing, but in general, the volume is just really tapering off here. I think that if this doesn't pick up volume like relatively quickly and we don't see some kind of like volume accumulation like this over here, like within, the next couple days, but like until Wednesday, this might break down from here. And I have the same kind of sentiment with Bitcoin, to be honest with you. Now I know, again, the head and shoulders, whatever. I don't really give a shit about this pattern. Sure. Do we want to call it a head and shoulders? Sure. You guys already know my reasoning of why I don't like calling it that. This doesn't like a shoulder. This is like some Quasimodo bullshit up here. Like I just really don't like the structure of calling this a head and shoulders pattern. A lot of people disagree with me on that. That's fine. Whatever. I love trading head and shoulders patterns. Typically on crypto assets, when you see them on high timeframes like this, they typically don't play out. In general, legacy patterns and classical charting patterns, they may be 65 or 70%, accurate in everything legacy and even Forex and futures. But when it comes to digital assets, the entire digital asset space, dude, they're literally a flip of a coin. They are 50-50. Like I take them into account, but they definitely do not play out 70% of the time. How many times have you guys seen price action like this, right? And it's like, oh, look, it's a perfect triangle. We're going to break out. And it just doesn't. And it just breaks all structure and just nukes on every. I mean, we've just seen it too many times. We know that classical charting patterns in digital assets, they're just not accurate enough to trade them alone. If somebody told me that they were like, oh, I'm going all in on this head and shoulders here, I'm going all in on this short, and they shorted here, this is why there's so many shorts that are offsides here. Look at how much thicker the short side is here compared to the long side. That's why shorts are offside here by $5 billion. They are massively offsides. I mean, not huge. Again, you normally see massive moves when this number in either direction reaches, between 15 and 25 or whatever. But in general, we haven't really looked at this. What's the 1 month say on the heat map? I want to check this out too. Maybe I'll let the stream run a little over. What do you guys think? Let me know by liking the video or letting me know in the comments or the chat if you guys would like me to give a little extension on the video by like 5 or 10 minutes. Holy shit, that's a massive block at 30K. See, this is the kind of shit that has me worried, right? There's a massive monthly liquidity pool right up here. That fucking oof. How far does that, is that on the 6 month too, or is it worse? No, see, on the 6 month, it's all below us. What about the 3 month? In the last 90 days, right? Oh yeah, it's all below us. Holy shit. Wow. See, here's the thing though, is that along the way down here, like this, see this again, this is like kind of a hard one to call because most of the liquidity on the higher on those higher look back periods is well below us. It's only this monthly spot here, and it only recently started turning bright yellow. Like, I want to say, what is this? The 10th. So like literally last week, a week ago, this started lighting up here. Notice how quickly we grabbed this, had a little throw over, and then immediately reversed and then stagnated because there's no real big liquidity close to us. But I kind of want to say that the majority of the liquidity is to our downside, but this is a real big question mark for me. I really don't like seeing this up here at 30K. This would be the kind of thing where like that would be like if that really happened like that, I would probably save my subscribers of the Venom algo. And I would probably, if this stayed in a short because it like slow grinded up and just didn't make any indicators on 5-minute charts trigger. And then we saw some like really volatile event that we're seeing a live liquidation cascade. I'd probably manually close everyone's positions before it hit the hard stop just to save people money, because this really worries me up here. Like I can't express to you enough how much I do not like seeing so many shorts in our immediate area off sides, but this massive pool at 30,000 too. I really don't like that because it's the only time frame that's showing up on. I did 7 days, 12 hours. I did 3 month. I did 6 month. I mean, look back for a year is kind of ridiculous. Again, most of the liquidity we're closer to stuff to our downside here than we are to our top side. So it's only that monthly stuff. Why? You know what? I bet it is. I bet it's futures and options expiry for the quarter. I bet you that's what this is, because this is BitMEX, Bybit, Binance, right? I'm pretty sure Binance does. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it only Deribit that does options? I mean, obviously Binance does futures. That's without a doubt. But does Binance do options? Because obviously, if this is only looking at BitMEX, Bybit, and Binance, this can't take into account anything that's on Deribit. So maybe that's another question is, what does Deribit options expiry have to say for the end of the quarter, right? So the end of the quarter would be June. I guess it would be June 30 expiry. So let's look at Bitcoin options with an expiry date of June 30. Max Pain is 24. 30K, there's a massive block here, but that's calls. Well, I guess if you're selling calls. Yeah, so you guys are in the chat are saying liquidity grab up high first. 30K is a stretch. I mean, that would be, now that I think about it, that absolutely would be Max Pain. Like, that would be a fucked up scenario of seeing something like that. That would be like really disastrous. Like just retesting these fucking highs up here, not breaking the swing high and just like overthrowing the local top and fucking nuking. Oh man, that'd be so terrible. Just like tapping into the yearly support and resistance one last time just before absolute destruction. I mean, that's a possibility, but the only reason why I tend to think that might not happen is just simply because like on these look back periods, this is only there on the 1 month. Like, and that's just like sketchy to me. Seeing like 30, like it's like, this sum. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. There's one here at 27.7, but that ain't no 30K. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, we could liquidity grab up here, you know, like on volatility, like snag 27.8 or 28K again before just absolute dunking on people. But I really like 30K from here. It's really only $3,000. I guess it's definitely possible. I mean, we've seen Bitcoin move $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 in a day. So, I mean, it's 100% possible. I'm not going to sit here and try to, fucking lie to you guys and be like, oh no, it's impossible. It just can't happen because of X, Y, and Z. It 100% can. But I feel like right now, with just how abysmal the OBV looks on the daily chart, this is another reason why I just really don't see that happening. Look, the OBV has literally been flat since before we even topped. Like, it didn't even budge for any of this. Look at this. And this goes back to like way back here, right? Like if I put all the price action on the chart so you guys can see the OBV of where I got these lines from. I mean, look at this nonsense, right? Like, okay, this is all accumulation, right? So this is normal for that. This was very abnormal, but this was people like capitulating the bottom and just like exiting the markets for, the classic newbie move. Like, oh my God, I can't take any more pain. And they fucking sell the bottom right before it rips. That's what this was here, but it immediately reclaimed, shot through the roof. Absolutely crazy when this started going off. It popped off like crazy. And then we had this, right? We had this massive drop, and this sell-off in terms of spot was massive. Like, everybody thought that this was it. Once we broke these lows after we bounced, it was just a sell fest. Everybody was trying to get out here. Especially once these lows broke, everyone was like, oh man, that's it. We're definitely going back to 18K. Everyone and their mother was calling for 18K. What happened? We didn't go to 18K. We just retested 20 and that was it. And we bounced hard as fuck. We retested 20K again since we flipped it. We flipped it here. We retested it. That was pretty standard, in my opinion. I did long down here. I mean, obviously I didn't snag the bottom. I think I longed like 21.5 or something in here. It was on this somewhere in this first or second big candle or whatever. And I rode this up till here. It stagnated and then I closed. I missed this. And for the most part since then, since I exited in here, I've been fucking flat for like the last 2-3 months. I've been flat. I haven't moved at all. Same thing with my normal like trading accounts and my IRAs and shit. I haven't touched anything. I'm literally sitting in mostly cash. And I think that a lot of investors are also sitting mostly in cash because there's just a lot of indecisiveness in the markets right now. But in general, since then, right? Since that 20K retest and reclaim, right? And we went to the next and we popped and the OBV broke back into the range. Stagnant. We popped. OBV barely budged. It was like meh. Stayed flat, tanked on the down move, right? And then it's been pretty correlated ever since, right? Like we got a lower high here. We had an equal high. On the indicator, that's some exaggerated bearish divergence. We did move lower. Okay, we put in a lower low here, and then, it kind of re-correlated. We put in a lower low on the OBV as well, and still just stagnant. This is very tough to call for me. I really think that a quick move to 30K would be just like you guys saw. Like, this is derivatives shit, right? Like, these are literally liquidation levels. You're obviously only getting liquidated in futures, or like if you're trading, like with leverage and margin and shit, right? That would be the only way that I think that big ass liquidity pool at 30K would get hit, is some kind of like forced liquidation cascade. And man, like that's really pushing it, like sweeping up into here, like 28.5 or whatever, and sweeping all the shorts. Okay, yeah, sure. Like, okay, I can see that. Yeah, so, okay, whatever. Market makers are going to stop out the Venom algo. That's cool. I mean, if I got stopped out, my algo would definitely be shorting up here again and waiting for it. That's cool. And I would be doing the exact same thing, to be honest with you. Like, my algo trades the same way that I trade. It employs the same risk management that I employ when I trade manually. I short the rips. I buy the dips. I have a set risk management. I ladder my bids, and I have a partial take profit with a trailing stop. Literally, my algo does the exact same thing. Risk management first, profits second. Okay? Literally that. So, oh man, that's fucking tough to call. I really, really don't like this on Deribit though, with the strike prices at 30K up here for the end of quarter. What is it for Ethereum, I wonder? If you guys want this, by the way, here's a link for you. I think that this website is very interesting. Definitely helps in being able to further predict, movements based on volatility. So, oh wow. So the most is at, wait, oh, I didn't check the expiration. Here we go. June 30. Max pain is 1600. See, I don't understand why the max. Oh, I guess it's based on strike price or entry price. That's probably why. Or decay or something with the deltas. Is this yeah, so intrinsic, this is intrinsic value. The red line is the intrinsic value of the expiration. Okay, so the intrinsic value of the expiration hits basically zero at 1600. Yeah, I don't know, 1600. That's not that far. Well, let's measure it. How far is it really to 1600? About 11.5%. That's actually a pretty, for Ethereum, that's a pretty significant dip. Now for Bitcoin, shit, what did I say it was? God damn it, now I don't remember. ADHD, guys. ADHD. I need some of Crypto Dog's Better Mind supplements. 30,000 and 24,000 is the max pain. I definitely don't think that we're going down. That's probably also about a 10% move. 24,000. Yeah, it's about 10%. That could definitely happen. We've seen Bitcoin move 4, 5, 6% in a day, sometimes more, but that's on like super volatile stuff. I really don't think that the FOMC minutes is going to be a big enough deal to move the markets 10% in that short amount of time. You know what I'm saying? June 30, that's a month. No, it would have to be the FOMC minutes and then some other, yet to be seen catalyst. You know what I mean? Like some kind of other big market event. You know what I mean? Not necessarily a black swan, like FTX, that's a black swan, right? But some kind of like massive, big news, some kind of big news. That's like, you know what I mean? Like all of this, okay, the United States is gonna ban stable coins, or they're gonna ban, you know what I'm saying? Like it would have to be like a big unforeseen news event to make the markets downturn that hard, that quick in a month. Even 10%, even a 10% move on Bitcoin in like a 30-day period is a substantial amount. That's a lot. Recently here, on this move, right? We went down 12%, and that was in less than a week. So it's definitely possible. Man. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's a really rough one to call. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do my homework, and I want you guys to do it also. I want you guys to just kind of use your critical thinking skills and do all that stuff. Leave your comments down below about what you think is going to happen and why, or what you think would cause a move in either direction to happen and why. And let me know down in the comments below. I'll share some of the comments or whatever on Twitter later the week. I'll feature you and shout you out or whatever. Whether I have your Twitter handle or not. If I don't, leave it. If you want to, you can leave it in the comments. Let me know what your predictions are. And I'll follow up on those on Monday. I'll look towards the comments, and I'll follow up on those on Monday and kind of chart it out. You know what I mean? Like I'll put your idea on my chart and give you my thoughts on it. If that sounds good. I'd like to, make the streams a little more interactive from here on out. I think that would be a cool thing to do. Those of you guys that are traders, obviously this is more geared towards traders and investors. So give me your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think we're going to have some like kind of rogue fundamental event that, kind of tanks these markets and we see the max pain scenario for options and futures? Or do you think that maybe the FOMC pausing, a bunch of retail plebes are going to actually think that that's bullish, and the markets are going to spike up first and snag liquidity to the top side, causing like severe pain for shorts, and then just leaving them all behind on the major move to the downside. Then, I'm very interested to hear your everyone's thoughts on that. So let me know down in the comments below. Like I said, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. Especially if it's your first time here. I do this every Friday. Make sure that you check all the links down in the description below as well. A lot of helpful stuff down there. I know that I have links for High Block Capital and a bunch of other really cool stuff. Obviously, TradingView, the Venom Algo, Twitter, all of that good stuff. I think there's a Linktree link in there for like my website and Koger-trading.com, all of that stuff. More information on the algos there as well. But just in general, I just encourage everybody to make some kind of an account on Astrobit, even if you don't plan on purchasing anything, just because I'm mostly active in the Astrobit Discord. I do not have my own Discord. I do not have my own Telegram group. I disbanded and just kind of abandoned all those. It was too much work. I didn't want to hire people to mod channels and shit like that. It was just too much to manage on my own. So I kind of scaled back. I'm focusing more on streaming and more on video content and content creation this year, and focusing on just building out my algorithmic suite in terms of like software and stuff, and really focusing on that, as well as in my personal life, getting my certifications. I'm going to start going into cloud security. I'm going to start expanding my certification portfolio, and going to be getting AWS certs and start going into cloud security, and just in the Web3 direction for cloud computing and stuff like that. So very interesting times. I've got a lot going on. But bear with me. Usually I will be doing a stream on Friday. If I don't, I'll announce that ahead of time so I don't get anyone's hopes up. I know a lot of you guys are in here every week. I truly support that. I love that. I said I support that like an idiot. I love you guys for the support. That's what I meant. I really do appreciate it. Thank you all very much. And I will see you guys next week. And I'll do probably a short, like my normal analysis shorts and everything. I normally do those on Tuesday or Wednesday. I try to do them twice a week, editing other people's videos because I do freelance on the side as well, on top of live streaming once a week and 2 videos of my own twice a week, and editing 2 or 3 other clients' videos every week on top of algorithm stuff and charting and Twitter and just everything that I do. As a one-man show, I am very, very busy. I do my best to try and get you guys the content that I want to get you guys, that you guys are here for. I'm a very busy person. So I really appreciate the love and support. It really helps me. It lets me know that you guys enjoy the content. It's worth my time making it because you guys are eating it up. I really appreciate the love and support. So until on Tuesday, I will see you guys then. I wish you guys all a very happy, healthy, and safe weekend. Go have some fun, step away from the charts, spend some time with the fam, do your thing. And I look forward to whatever price movements occur. And, stay tuned for all the big things that are going to be happening with Astrobit and Apex Pro. So on that note, I will leave you guys. Enjoy your Friday night. And until next time, happy trading.